they were huddled up in that corner, and I walked over and I looked at their faces, and it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. That's when they told me that they had lost CJ. I had posted a video, woke up the next morning, and it's got like 600,000 views. I'm like, what just happened? This was kind of a little sneak peek into performing in front of Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan. And I remember seeing CJ walking to the stage, getting ready, putting in his ears.
Yeah.
I say, hey, CJ, can I get a picture with you? And I'll never forget. He turned around. He goes, man, can't you see I'm getting ready for a show? I'm just effing with you. I would say most of the Firehouse fan base has welcomed me with open arms. You always get those few people who are, no CJ, no Firehouse, and I completely agree with them. The number one thing that was on my mind was, this is for you, CJ.
Today, I am excited to welcome a rock and roll whirlwind. Nate Peck sang a damn Dawkins song on American Idol. He worked with Jack Russell from Great White, and yes, he is the new, or fairly new, lead singer of Firehouse. Nate Peck, welcome to the show.
Hey, Anthony, thanks for having me.
Man, it's a pleasure. I'm so excited for everything that's going on with you. Do you feel like the last couple of years have been like a blur?
Yeah, I can't really process what's really happening. But it's a good time. It's a great time.
Sure. And are you 24, 25?
24.
24. Okay. So I want to get Firehouse just released a new single, Mighty Fine Lady. I played it on my Saturday night radio show on Rock 101 just last weekend. It's phenomenal. I want to get into that and what's going on with the band currently, but where where are your musical beginnings? When did you discover like, holy shit, I can sing like this, and pardon my language?
Yeah, so I grew up in a really kind of a musical family. My dad was a singer, my mom was a singer, kind of in the gospel choir singing area. Growing up, there was always music playing in the house. There was, Boston, Journey, Foreigner, just wonderful music. So,
Sure.
hearing that as a younger kid, and then kind of getting into my teenage years, is when I kind of dove into the Dokken, the Crocus, the Scorpions, the that genre of music, and I think I really started taking it seriously vocally. Um, Maybe 18 or 19. That's when I started
Sure.
doing Dokken covers. Yeah.
Where did people look at you a little bit differently in high school because you were listening to all this older stuff, or was it pretty acceptable?
The music today is you know, with my generation, it's the rap and I don't really like that music, but yeah, I was quiet in high school because of, I felt kind of like the odd person out. Um,
Sure.
but I'm proud of it.
Sure. Sure. So, was it so who was playing this rock like you said your mom there was a lot of music around the house like how did you get introduced to stuff like Dokken that you would have known that at that age?
Yeah, so my dad was kind of more into the R&B, the Ambrosia, um, Jackson Five. My mom was more the rocker
Okay.
type. She was into the Dokken, and she's
Sure.
actually that showed me that band. She's like, "Oh, you got to go check out the song Alone Again." So I went and listened to it. I'm like, "Oh, this is great."
Right.
So yeah,
I have my son is 18 and he used to listen to rock with me all the time, but then he got into like a Kanye West phase and I'm
oh,
like, where did I go wrong? You know?
yeah.
Anyway. Um, did you flirt around with playing in bands in high school or what happened there?
High school, I kind of just I was starting kind of playing guitar,
Yeah.
uh, doing some drums, making videos on Instagram
Yeah.
and TikTok, and but the bands didn't come until the band I was in didn't come until after high school. I fronted a band out of Leonard, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
What was that band called?
Wanted.
And were you guys playing covers?
Um, it was actually a lot of original material. Um,
Okay,
we would throw in maybe like a Rat song, like Round and Round, or
sure.
to spice it up, but they're mostly original.
Were you getting, I mean, were you guys getting crowds? How long did you play? And can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I had joined the band, I think in June of 21 or 22. Um, we mostly played. There's a place in I think it's New Chester. I forgot where it's at. Birmingham, Michigan, called the Diesel Concert Lounge. We would play some gigs there. I think my first show ever with them, we opened up for Trickster, which was funny. It was Steve Brown and PJ.
Yeah,
Um, we'd pull in a decent crowd.
sure,
But that was a good start for me, kind of gaining stage presence and learning how
sure.
to uh, kind of get used to being into a band, and
Right,
the different personalities.
sure.
It's a good learn.
Were the other guys a lot older than you, or were?
All the same age.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. Do you talk to those guys still?
No.
Sure. Okay. I get you. I get you. Okay. So you kind of mentioned doing stuff on Instagram. Is that kind of the social media, the TikTok, is that kind of what helped propel you? You end up, and we're going to get to the American Idol. Is that kind of what helped get you noticed?
TikTok. Believe it or not,
Sure.
I was in kind of a Metallica era phase where I would do some some James Hetfield chugs. Uh, I remember posting a video. It was either Master of Puppets or For Whom the Bell Tolls or something like that off of the Ride the Lightning era.
Yep.
Um, I had posted a video, woke up the next morning, and it's got like 600,000 views. I'm like, what just happened? And
Is this you playing guitar?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and did the Metallica stuff for a while, kind of gained some followers and views along the way. And I switched. What really kind of turned it all around was I posted, I believe it was Alone Again by Doc, and that cover, the vocal cover. I switched to
Yeah.
vocal after that. And I think I'm at like 46,000 followers, something like that on
Sure.
TikTok. That's what that's where I got recognized, was that
Okay.
platform.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that what leads, because now we're getting into 2023, you get the American Idol. Can you kind of like how does that come about for a kid from Michigan who was just playing in a little cover band?
Yeah. So I had met this A&R guy who had hit me up through TikTok.
Okay.
Was, I don't know, September of 22. And he's like, hey man, really love your voice, love, what you're doing and the genre that you're singing. We've got kind of a, a thing. They kind of get people through the back door instead of, how everybody lines up, like thousands of people line up to do the auditions. And
Yeah.
this was kind of a little sneak peek into performing in front of Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan. And I remember telling him, I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. And about a week or 2 weeks later, I get to a pre-audition through a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And I think I chose, it was a Foreigner song, a Great White song, and the Dawkins song. And there was a bunch of producers. They kind of, that's the level before. They're like, okay, they decide whether or not you want to be on the show. And I did the Dawkins song, "The Lightning Strikes Again," and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is the one," because it's so high. And that's what they chose. Yeah.
Was it a cappella, the Zoom call?
No, so I had ripped off. I guess it's called stems. You can take like a drums out or
Sure.
guitar out, vocals out. I took
Sure.
the vocal track out of "Lightning Strikes Again," and I played that in a background. And
Sure.
that.
So you do this Zoom call. When do you find out on the Zoom call, or when do you find out Yes, you're going forward.
Yeah, I found out on the Zoom call. Yep.
Okay.
They're, oh, yeah, congratulations. You're going in front of, Luke, Katie, and Lionel. I was like, oh, this is great.
And so the next thing is in front of those guys after
Yeah.
the Zoom call. Were you like, I mean, were you nervous as shit?
Yeah, I was. I
Oh
sure.
God. I mean, I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long after the Zoom call is it till you go do that?
Um, I think like a week. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a week, and then they flew us out to. There was different recording spots where they were doing the show. I think there was one of them was New Orleans, um, somewhere on the East Coast, maybe New York or something, and then there was a Nashville audition.
Sure.
They flew me out to Nashville, and that's where we did it. Yeah.
Okay. And you go out and I've seen the lightning strikes again. Some guy, and I don't know who it was. I'll be honest, I don't watch much American Idol, but some dude comes out and plays guitar, you sing, and can you kind of like what was what was the process like before you get out there? Like, okay, you're sitting in this room, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Can you kind of bring the viewer back into that day?
Yeah. So, maybe that. So there was not a lot going on the recording day. A lot of it took like all the little juicy bits of information happened maybe the day before, but the
Please,
guy,
please go into that if you don't mind.
yeah. So we, the guy who came out and played guitar, I forgot his name, maybe Fredley Brown or something like that. Um, we had gotten into a room, like a separate room, because he's never learned the song, so he had to learn it, listen to it, um, kind of like a rehearsal. Um, we went into that room, just did it for maybe 15 minutes, running through the song, and then the next day, I think it was like noon, is when he played it for like the first time. Yeah,
Okay.
very quick.
Sure, sure. So like did they put you up in like a super nice hotel and get
Yeah,
the rock star treatment?
yeah, yep. We were in a nice hotel, which is funny because the place I had lived in Nashville was on that same street.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay. All right. So you get called out and you're like, here's these some of the biggest names in music history. And I mean, what's going through your head when you're
Uh,
getting ready to perform?
as a fog. It's funny watching back on that audition, um, and kind of revisiting mentally where you were. It's all a complete blur because you're so
Yeah.
adrenaline. It's like what just happened? Like you
Yeah.
walk down, it's like I don't remember a single thing that happened in that room.
Sure. Sure. When
Cool.
you do you know if when you got done, did you feel like, ah, shit? Or did you feel like, man, I nailed it. Like I did exactly what I wanted to do.
Uh, I would say with singers, I can speak for myself on this. It's a perfectionist kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Um, we're hard on ourselves.
Sure.
For me, it's got to be perfect. And I didn't warm up very much in that before that audition, and I was so nervous. I mean, I
Yeah.
was, um,
Sure.
but I thought I did okay.
Sure. And then, so then tell me, like, and I mean, people can go watch it, but right after you get done, what was the reaction that you saw from the judges, Katy Perry and Lionel Richie and these guys?
Oh, it was great. There was actually a I did an Aerosmith song which wasn't aired.
Okay.
Is that song called um, "Don't Want to Miss a Thing"?
Okay.
They were kind of testing um, if I could do ballads or if I could do the rock and stuff, and that was kind of the telltale signs if I was going to be able to make it was if I could do a ballad. So they did that, and they're like, okay, he's got it. Um, yeah.
Okay. And so they, I don't know what's it called? They, the thing where they're all like, fuck, we love you. It's some do you know what, like, I don't know what the term is, but you get like the thing where they're all like, yes, you're going forward.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. It was, they would all have a chance to speak and, speak their mind on how they
Yes.
audition. And they all unanimously said, "Yeah, you're going to Hollywood."
Okay. So then, and that's where I know about that initial audition and all that. So what happened after that with American Idol?
Shortly after that, I had bowed out of the competition. I didn't. There was no need to continue in the competition, so I just backed out. Moved to Nashville, where I had lived for 8 months, and the good takeaway from the show, I met really a lot of lifelong, really great people,
Sure.
super talented, but um, yeah, just didn't continue in the show.
That might shock a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the reaction from like, your family or, and I don't want to press on something that might be negative, but I'm just,
Oh, well, the show, this is why I don't watch American Idol, and this is not a bash towards them at all, but
oh,
it's not like how it was back then where, they based everything on talent and how people sing, but it's changed now. Um, you know, it's if you don't have a sob story,
okay.
uh, it's money for them. If they
Sure.
can a whole thing around a sob story,
Yeah.
then you can make it. But that's part of the reason I backed out.
Did they did they did they try to create a sob story?
Um, for me,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but I was there to sing,
Yep.
and that's
Okay.
yeah. It's about all I can say on the whole American Idol thing.
And
Yeah,
and for the record, like, I mean, I salute you for that. Like, if you didn't like what was going or for whatever reason, I mean, and you had these convictions, and you're like, you know what? I'm out. I mean, that takes a lot of guts. So kudos.
yeah,
All right. So okay. So you're in Nashville, right? Is that after Nashville, and you're like even you have some name recognition now? What happens after American Idol?
yep. So I moved to Nashville. I was living in Music Row, um, just kind of doing some local small town gigs around with some of the people that were on the show, and this is kind of leading up to the whole Jack story.
Yep.
Funny because I actually met Jack way before American Idol.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was early 2022 or 2021. I had met him at a place called Jurgles Rhythm Grill in Pennsylvania, and um, yeah, and back to the Nashville thing. I was living there doing gigs, going out on the road with Jack, going out and singing "Save Your Love" with him, and yeah, it was a good time.
How did you get so you met him before American Idol? First, how did you end up meeting him before that?
TikTok, yeah.
Okay.
There was a lady named K.A. Fig. Well, that's her profile name, K.A. Fig. She had hit me up on TikTok. She's like, "Man, you're just crushing these Jack Russell, cover videos." And she had actually sent the videos to Tracy Lee of Arm, who was our booking agent.
Okay.
Had sent them to Jack, and Jack got hold of them and had a nice response. Um, you know, just super respectful and really loved what I was doing. And
So you get to sit and chat with him that first time you met him. Okay.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
that like?
Oh, it was crazy. It was weird. I remember I was walking up the stairs. This is after the show, and Jack's personal kind of manager or whatever was Bill Richard. He had walked us up into this room upstairs to meet him. And when I walked in, it's so funny. He looked at me, he goes, "Hey man, what's going on?" and it was so weird. I felt like I had known him for forever. It was like another father figure. But we
Sure.
were singing, the old Great White song, "Step on You," and stuff from Psycho City. It was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah. I interviewed Mark Kendall a while back, and that was like two hours, and we got into so much detail about everything with Jack Russell. I mean, and rest in peace, obviously. So okay, so you meet him there. Then after American Idol, is it after American Idol that you start doing some performances with him? You said you start singing "Save Your Love." Can you tell me how that came about that you start singing with him?
Yeah, so the whole American Idol thing was pre-recorded. I think in November of 2022. Yeah, so it was after that. It might have been December or something like that. So the show has already been recorded.
Yep.
He had a show at a BMI event center in Versailles, Ohio. And I remember I drove to that show and I was sitting backstage and they're kind of getting ready to go on. And Jack comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, um, I would love for you to come out and sing a song with me." I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening." And I was like, "Well, what song?" And he's like, "Save Your Love." So we agreed on that. So that was the first time. It was kind of in between the audition airing and after it was recorded when
Sure.
I went and sang the first song with him. Yeah.
Okay. And how that first time, was it like holy shit, or I mean, what was your feeling going out there to sing with him?
Uh, same same thing that happened in the audition for American Idol. It's just like, oh my God, like this is happening. Um,
Right.
it was great. Um, it was a that's a thing I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was if it wasn't for him and it wasn't for Robbie, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for them.
Okay, so let's go into that some more, like that you get on stage the first time, and then you keep performing with him. Is it just like a couple songs, and are you going to all the shows? I don't know all the deals. So can you kind of go into how this relationship develops with you and Jack Russell?
Yeah, so after that first time sing with them, I was living in Nashville and I was going to the closest Midwest shows. They would have a show in Indiana or a show in Kentucky, and whatever closest show I would drive to, and I would only sing on one song. It was "Save Your Love."
Yep.
Um, and just the more I hung out with Jack and the guys, the more it became kind of a family kind of oriented vibe to it. Um, it was miss him. I miss him so much. But that's how that happened. Yeah, just driving to any gigs I can, you know, uh, and making those shows was important.
Did you notice that, the health problems he was having? And I mean, did that ever come up in conversations or?
No, he
Sure.
he kept it pretty quiet.
Yep.
It was tough. Sorry, I live right by a road.
No.
It was tough at the end, kind of seeing him. Um, he was physically he was struggling. That back surgery he had was tough on him.
Yeah.
But man, he was a trooper.
Yeah.
If he was physically not there, his voice was still there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
super strong. But
Yeah, I saw him numerous times, and even if he wasn't moving around, the dude could still sing like you wouldn't, you're like, how is that guy singing when he's barely moving?
yep,
Um, I just had Tony Montana on. It's not released yet, but and we got into the so you were working with him
yeah, yeah.
in those, and so and we'll get to but he passed away in 2024. Do you remember when you found that out? And just, I mean, do you remember your reaction to that?
Yeah. I was in the car with the guys, Bill, Michael, and Alan. We had just landed and gotten into the car to drive to a gig, And I'm scrolling through Facebook, and um, Bill Richard, the guy who introduced me to Jack for the first time, he had made a post on Facebook, and I just kind of skimmed over it with my eyes, and I kind of scrolled by it, and then I went back up. I'm like, wait a minute, it says, we lost a legend today, Jack Russell, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when we all found out about that whole thing.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're doing this stuff with Jack Russell and Robbie Lochner, who plays with Jack, is the one who mentions that Firehouse is having. So when did you get told like, hey, there might be an opportunity with Firehouse?
yeah. So I'll do a quick story really quick. I had met this girl up in Michigan, and I was kind of driving back and forth 8 hours through the night every weekend, putting some miles on my car. And Firehouse was playing up in Bay City, Michigan. I think it was 4th of July. And I had went there for the fireworks show. I had no clue they were playing.
Sure.
And we went to the show, watched the whole show, went back to Nashville. They were playing, let's see, they were playing The Mill in Terre Haute, Indiana. That's with, let's see, Lita. It was either Lita Warrant, Firehouse, and Jack Russell's Great White. That's when I was singing with Jack. So
Okay.
Firehouse was there. That's actually the first time I met CJ, which
Sure.
is great. I got a funny little story. Firehouse was getting ready to play, and there's kind of like a gravel road that walks down to the stage. And I remember seeing CJ walking to the stage, getting ready, putting in his ears.
Yeah.
I say, "Hey CJ, can I get a picture with you?" And I'll never forget. He turned around. He goes, "Man, can't you see I'm getting ready for a show? I'm just effing with you." It was great. I took a picture with him, and then the next day um, was the show at Beaver Dam, Kentucky. That was the amphitheater there, and that was the last time I saw CJ. That was like July 28th, 27th of 23,
Okay.
and that's the last time I saw CJ. He walked out, looked at me. I had reposted his the picture that we took the day before up on my story. He looked at me, shook my hand, and said, "Hey, man, thanks for reposting that on your story." And that was the last time I saw him. But leading up to, sorry about that whole
No, no,
story.
no, no, please. I love that. That's the good stuff, man. Thank you.
Um, so leading up to where we are now, I was living in Nashville, still in Nashville. I drove back to Nashville the next day, and let's see, that was July, August, September. Let's see, so got a call maybe a month or month and a half later from Robbie Lochner, and he's like, "Hey man, this is what's going on with CJ. They're looking for a fill-in singer for the time being. Would you be interested?" And he said, just kind of I did some short little clips in my car, "Love of a Lifetime" and some songs.
Yeah.
Sent those over to Robbie. He sent that over to Bill, and then next day Bill called me, and he's like, "Love your voice. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Need somebody to fill in. Would you be interested in filling in for a little bit for CJ?" And I had to learn 14 songs in like a week and a half. So it was just like, oh man, I'd
Right.
go to sleep, with all the songs on the set list underneath my pillow, so that it was kind of subconsciously in my brain. Um, and then they flew me out to the first show at New England Rock Fest in Norwalk, Connecticut. That was great.
And you had never gotten together with the band to rehearse. Tell me about that first day because that's the first time you meet everybody and you get so can you tell us about that day?
Yeah, flew into Norwalk. Remember, it was a rainy day. Got off the plane, hopped into the car, met the guys at the baggage claims, all so nice. And we hopped in the car, went to the hotel, and then we had dinner that night. A long dinner. It was great. And then we went back to the hotel next day. getting ready for sound check. It was a long, extended sound check.
Yeah.
Um, Ran through a few songs. I felt pretty comfortable. Again, kind of that out of body experience, like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is how it is.
Sure.
And we did the show, and it was great. It was really good, really great.
Was there a point in that for because I mean you're the front man, you're the guy with the microphone. Does Bill come out and introduce you? Or you know, I'm just trying to see the dynamics. I mean, how do they say, "Hey, there's a new guy here"?
Yeah. So I remember our set list. We started out with Rock You Tonight, then it went into All She Wrote, Shake and Tumble. So after Shake, it was the third song in. After Shake and Tumble, I had this. I would say, introduce myself, and I would just say, you know, um, I'm filling in for CJ tonight. He wishes he could be here,
Yeah.
um, and he'll be back. He'll be back real soon. And I just give you, everything I got. So I hope you can, stick with me. And yeah, that's so I had a little saying for CJ.
Was
Yeah,
what was the crowd response that first night?
it was really respectful.
Okay.
Understood. Um, and they kind of embraced me the first night, and it was a good time.
And Bill and I just released an interview with Bill about a week and a half ago. It was phenomenal. And we went through some of this, but that first night, did people know back then that CJ was having the problems that he was having, or was
Um,
it still kind of,
yeah, it was
you know,
under. Yeah, nobody knew.
yeah?
No,
And Bill had said that CJ said, "Hey, let's just kind of keep it on the down low.
yeah,
I'm gonna work through which completely makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Um, so after that first show, you guys, you keep playing. Are you and are you communicating with CJ? Like, is he getting videos of the performances? Are you guys kind of tell me about the relationship that you develop with CJ after you start filling it?
Yeah. So the the few shows that were after that, there was our front of house guy Tony Avatar, who runs our sound, had set up a video camera back at the mixing board, and he would record the shows, and he'd send the tapes off to CJ, and CJ would we would talk quite a bit on the phone, a lot, and he'd give me great pointers. Pace yourself. Um, Taking care of the voice. Sleep is key. You know, um, he was always helping me through
Sure.
through everything, and he was just a great mentor. Um,
How about and I'm sure, I mean, Bill was so complimentary about you, but like obviously you're a young guy.
yeah.
And these, and while they still rock, but there are a lot I mean, so how is your relationship with them as you're starting to come in like, hey guys, I'm this 24-year-old guy that was on American Idol. How does that relationship develop with you and the band?
Um, you know, I get along better with Gen X than I do my own. So right off the bat, there was this chemistry there. Um, like we were friends. It was a good family. It's a good family vibe. They have a great, loving, thing about them.
Yeah,
We got along really well.
sure, sure. And the days are probably long gone where you guys are partying all night and chasing chicks and all that, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Or maybe for you, shoot. I mean,
No, no.
yeah,
For me, it's I got into this for the love of music, and the number one most important thing is going out on stage. And if you can make, either somebody, goes to a show, because they're having a bad day and they want to get lifted up, and if you could put a smile on their face, that's number one. That's what
amen.
that's what it's all for. But as for the women and stuff, I'll pass.
I got you. I
Messing
got
around. Yeah.
you. One of the most amazing moments of my interview with Bill, he's talking about he's talking to CJ, and it's almost, I mean, it's almost easy to get emotional where uh CJ like gives his blessing to Bill, and he says, "Bill, that's your guy." I mean, that must have meant, do you remember like when hearing that, do you remember Bill saying like, "Yes, you're the one."
Um, I didn't I didn't know that
Sure.
DJ gave his blessing. So that must have happened on a time where I wasn't around, but
Sure.
um that was that was really cool of CJ, and I can't imagine, you know, um the strength it took to even say that. Um I'm very honored and blessed, and I have no good, just it's crazy how the whole thing unfolded. Um, Wish I could call him
Yeah.
and talk to him and thank him, but it just happened so fast. Um, you know, yeah,
And Bill said, I mean, they didn't know. I mean, everybody thought that hey, he's going to get through this, and when so CJ passed away April 5th, and like, Bill said it was a shock. Do you remember, how did you find out, and do you remember that day?
do yeah. We had a show in El Paso, Texas, opening up for Dokken, and we had left the next day. We had a layover in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was I was asleep, and they were in front of me, and I was the last one to get off the plane. And usually they're kind of waiting at the right at the gate, so we all kind of get together and walk to the baggage claim. But something was different when I walked off the plane. I didn't see him, and then I was kind of looking around, and I saw them kind of huddled up in a corner. It was they were huddled up in that corner, and I walked over, and um, I looked at their faces, and it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. That's when they told me that they had lost CJ. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's a tough day. So and we don't need to make, but over you get announced as the lead singer a month later.
yeah,
You tell me just what are the conversations after CJ passes that leads to that announcement? Yes, you are going to be the full-time guy.
yeah. Um, as Bill said, CJ always had that mentality of the show must go on.
Yep.
Um, and we wanted to, they wanted to keep doing the shows and doing it for the fans was important. So, um, and I was all for it. I was like, let's Bill and Michael and all of them were like, let's keep this going for the fans and for CJ and his
Yep.
family, keeping it alive, keeping his legacy alive. And that's what we do every night. We have this dedication to him every night with "Home Is Where the Heart Is"
Yeah.
from, I think it's the 1991 Japanese footage. So he's always still a part of our show, and that's how it's going to be until the end.
Sure. Sure. What was your reaction? And maybe it was this, but was there a time where Bill said, "Yes, you are"? Do you remember that moment where you get told, "Yes, you are the new lead singer of Firehouse"?
Um, yeah, yeah, it was shortly before the announcement
Okay.
made
Okay.
on Facebook, introducing me, and
Yep.
CJ had given his blessing,
Yeah.
and that was it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Were you like, "Holy shit, I can't believe this is happening"? Or
Um, Was excited, but the number one thing that was on my mind was, you know, this is for you, CJ, and
Yeah,
this fans because they deserve it, and
sure.
that was number one. But I was happy. I was,
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, tell me, like, okay, so is I'm assuming after CJ passes, tell me like what were the initial shows like that, especially when you're doing, maybe a tribute. You said during Home is Where the Heart Is. Like, what was the reaction from the fans?
um, it's I would say most of the Firehouse fan base has um welcomed me with open arms. You always get those few people who are, no CJ, no Firehouse, and I completely agree with them. Um, but it's it's to keep him alive. It's to keep his legacy alive. And but as for, afterwards, not a dry eye in the room
Sure,
that with that tribute video. And I honestly I think that's what makes the whole show.
sure. I'm sure it does. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so when does the idea for Mighty Fine Lady, how does that when did the genesis of that get started?
Yeah. So that was Bill had these riff ideas that he had saved. And I remember hitting him up one day. I was calling him like, "Hey man, let's write a song." And he's like, "All right, let's do it." So he had sent me, the first kind of guitar lick that would turn into the first verse.
Yeah.
I remember he sent that back to me, and I wrote down, yeah, she moves, she's got me all wired, you know, and it just kind of built on from there, and that was really cool. Yeah, that was the first kind of progression towards what would later be. Yeah.
Okay. Were you writing that about anybody in particular?
Um,
You can pass on that if you want.
no, no,
I did. I'll just say I did see a recent video on
oh,
Facebook
oh
of
yeah,
you seeing In Love of a Lifetime, and there was a fine young filly there with you. So just
I would
FYI.
maybe she had something to do with it, but
All right.
I would say so.
Good.
I mean, it's a good that those kind of that lyrical content is always it's a fun, exciting. It gets people thinking like, oh, who's this mighty fine lady? That he's
Right.
talking.
Right.
It's a fun song.
So the song came out May 13th, 2025, and I bought it right away on firehousemusic.com. Go buy that. It's only $1. So, and if someone didn't know what had happened to CJ, if somebody had just crawled out from under a rock and heard this song, you might have thought it was him. And I mean that in the best way possible as a compliment. That it sounds like that could have come out in between the first and second album.
I appreciate that. That means a lot.
So, yeah, and I don't always say that because sometimes, some bands will try to put out music in recent years, and sometimes they do a great job, sometimes they don't. What you guys put out stands up, I think, with what they were doing in the past. So now going forward, and I talked to Bill about this, like, is there plans for more? Is there anything in the works right now?
For right now, no. But we would like to record more, definitely. I think with the direction that uh, the latest song, "Mighty Fine Lady," has turned out to be, all these great reactions and all this radio airplay. I think it kind of boosts our confidence. We haven't played it live yet.
Okay.
Um, I think it's going to fuel us to write some more songs.
Is it going to end up in the set list?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
Okay.
First time we're gonna play it is it's either Bena or Benna, Minnesota. Yeah, it's a festival. We're gonna play it in there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, so that's probably about as close as you're going to get. So I'm hoping I can make that show. I don't know where, but
It'd
we'll
be
figure
great,
out.
dude.
Yeah. Okay, so Mighty Fine Lady, amazing new Firehouse song, firehousemusic.com. It's a buck. Uh, get the medium coffee instead of the large coffee one day, and you got brand new music. Support these artists that are putting out new music. Okay. Um, and we're getting ready to wrap up. How has all this changed you? I can't imagine and you know that it hasn't. How could it not? You went from, I mean, you're only 24 years old. You went from, Michigan, playing in a little band, to American Idol, to singing with Jack Russell. And I'm not saying, when I say change, I don't mean like, oh, like all of a sudden bad change, but just how are things different for you? How has this changed you? All of this happening.
Um, it's allowed me to do what I always dreamed of and what I love doing is it's music, it's singing. It's a universal language, and I'm happy doing it. I'm with the greatest guys in the world who treat me. It's a great family. Glad to call them my brothers. It's it's great, and I've met a lot of really cool people on the way, and I'm just really fortunate and can't tell you how much I you know thank all the people that still come out to these shows. It's wonderful.
Okay,
It's
awesome. And you're in Firehouse, but you're a young guy. What are your goals for the future? And I mean, in and out of Firehouse. What other things are you hoping to accomplish in your future?
I'm looking to stay with these guys until it's over, and then afterwards, maybe create a band of my own, or experiment and maybe mixing sound in a studio. Always staying in music. But as for right now, I just let it last and have a good time doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nate Peck, it's been a blast. Your energy and your enthusiasm for the fans and for the music of Firehouse is just phenomenal. So I'm wishing you the best for the future, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, buddy.